The night was silent, painting Earth in a tranquil, deceptive peace. But in an instant, everything changed forever. Across the entire planet, every single screen flickered to life. Phones, televisions, satellites, massive digital billboards, even devices that had been powered down for years. They all lit up, displaying one single, terrifying symbol, a burning red circle, bisected by 3 stark black lines. This was the mark of the Vrothel Dominion. As confusion turned to fear, a voice began to speak. It was a cold, emotionless, synthetic voice, yet it spoke in every language simultaneously, a chilling chorus of doom. Attention, Species 429b. Humanity, you have been judged. Your time is over. Just as the message sank in, 9 colossal ships materialized from thin air, casting monstrous shadows over the world's greatest cities. New York, Tokyo, Islamabad, London, Dubai, Beijing, Sydney, Moscow, Mexico City. The sky above each metropolis darkened as if eclipsed. The alien voice continued its dreadful proclamation. Your species is dangerous for the future of this galaxy. Therefore, you will be erased. The broadcast then shifted. The symbol was replaced by a horrific sight. 9 million human faces, trapped in glowing containment chambers, their eyes wide with terror. A timer appeared on every screen, ticking down 10, 9, 8. A wave of screams swept across the globe. Governments scrambled, frantically trying to block the signal, but it was impossible. Every device remained locked on the countdown. 3, 2, 1. A blinding flash. And just like that, 9 million lives were extinguished in a single moment. Chaos erupted. Cities descended into sheer panic. Cars crashed. People ran aimlessly through the streets. Some collapsed in grief. Others simply stared at the darkened sky, paralyzed by shock. But the broadcast wasn't over. The voice returned, its tone as cold as the void of space. This is only the beginning. Earth, prepare for extinction. World leaders sent desperate, pleading messages to the silent behemoths hanging in their skies. Stop, we surrender. We want to negotiate. But their pleas were met with an unnerving silence. No reply came from the alien ships. However, deep in a heavily fortified underground lab, one small computer screen beeped erratically. Dr. Eris, a brilliant scientist, renowned for decoding complex alien signals, watched it, his heart pounding. He saw something that shouldn't be possible, a new, encrypted message, originating from inside the alien fleet. His fingers flew across the keyboard. He opened it. A single line of text appeared. If you want to live, do not trust the Dominion. I will help you. Eris glanced around the panicked command center. This could be a trap, a cruel trick designed to shatter their last sliver of hope. But it could also be their only chance. Humanity's last stand. He made his choice. With a decisive click, he unlocked the message. A string of coordinates flashed onto his screen. He leaned closer, a whisper escaping his lips as the truth dawned on him. Someone inside their fleet wants to help us. The glowing coordinates pulsed on the screen, a beacon of either hope or despair. Dr. Eris felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, a trap or a lifeline. There was no time to second guess. He had to act. He quickly assembled his top team scientists, engineers, and military advisors. His message was short and chilling. We have one chance. Prepare for immediate departure. Above them, the sky was dark. 9 colossal alien ships blotted out the sun, casting Earth in an unnatural, cold twilight. It was as if the planet itself was holding its breath, waiting for the end. Deep underground, in a long-forgotten research station, Eris and his team found their sanctuary. He connected the encrypted message to a supercomputer, its fans worried to life in the dead silence. The screen flickered, and a hologram materialized in the center of the room. It was an alien, but not like the cold, cruel Dominion voice that had broadcast humanity's doom. This one was a scientist. His face was etched with worry, with something that looked like fear. I cannot stand by as my species destroys yours, the alien said, his voice urgent. I am sending this warning. You have only 72 hours before total annihilation, but I can help you. I will give you the key to a weapon, a human weapon, one you thought was lost to history. The alien scientist transmitted new coordinates, pointing to a location hidden deep beneath the moon's surface. Project Helios, he explained. This weapon is your only chance, but be warned, it is immensely powerful and dangerous. You must learn to control it, or it will consume you instead." The hologram vanished, leaving the room in silence. Dr. Eris looked at the faces of his team, each one pale but resolute. The clock was ticking. Humanity had less than 3 days to survive. Without a word, they sprang into action. Dust-covered spacesuits were pulled from storage. Old spacecraft, relics of a bygone era, were powered up. Hidden shuttles, humanity's last secret arsenal, were prepped for flight. On the surface, governments and societies were collapsing into chaos. But down here, a single spark of hope had been ignited. They were about to launch when the world exploded in a cacophony of alarms. Red lights flashed across the hangar. The Vrothel had detected them. On the main screen, massive warships were seen warping towards the moon. Dr. Eris clenched his fists, his knuckles white. "They know we're coming," he said, his voice a low growl, "but they don't know what's waiting for them." The team boarded the shuttle, their determined faces illuminated by the emergency lights. Outside, the alien fleet cast its final ominous shadow over the Earth, poised for the kill. But inside, the shuttle's engines roared to life, a defiant cry against the darkness. The countdown for humanity's survival had begun, and their first desperate leap was taking them straight to the moon. The shuttle shuddered, a violent rattle marking its brutal exit from Earth's atmosphere. Peering through the reinforced cockpit window, I saw them, the alien ships. They hung in the silent void like colossal, deadly monuments, their black metal hulls swallowing the starlight. Every viewport showed the same terrifying picture, an armada of giants moving with cold, calculated grace, their weapon ports glowing menacingly, all aimed at our home and its solitary moon. I clutched the console, my knuckles white. The glowing coordinates on the screen seemed to mock me. "Project Helios, it has to be real," I whispered, the words barely a breath in the tense silence of the cockpit. We were betting everything on a myth, a ghost story whispered among astrophysicists. After what felt like an eternity of nail-biting travel through the enemy's blockade, we approached the moon. Its familiar, cratered face held a secret we prayed was still there. Our senses pierced through layers of ancient dust and rock, revealing the impossible, a hidden base, the Helios facility. The entrance was sealed by massive blast doors, untouched for what looked like a century. I took a deep breath and typed in the access code, the very sequence the aliens had unwittingly broadcast in a burst of overconfident data. A deafening clang echoed across the lunar desolation as the colossal doors ground open, revealing a chasm of darkness. Inside, the facility was a tomb. It was frigid, coated in a thick blanket of dust. Relics of a bygone era of human space exploration were stored like museum pieces, old generation ships and forgotten machinery. But in the heart of this mausoleum, something pulsed with a soft, ethereal light. It was the core of the Helios AI, a system that had been dormant for over 100 years. As we approached, a voice, smooth and synthetic, echoed through the cavernous hall, making us all jump out of our skins. "Who awakens me?" it asked, the sound impossibly clear in the dead air. Before we could answer, it spoke again. "I am Helios. I was built to be the protector of humanity." The AI's light intensified slightly. "A warning. If you fully activate me, the Vrothel will know, instantly, and they will respond with overwhelming force." I stepped forward, my voice shaking but firm. "We have no other choice. They're systematically erasing our people from existence. We either fight back now, or we go extinct." A deep hum vibrated through the floor as Helios processed my words. Its circuits, cold for a century, began to awaken. Lights flickered to life across the base. The low rumble grew into a roar as ancient machines stirred. Deep beneath the lunar surface, a hidden fleet, a ghost army of warships long forgotten by Earth, began to power up. We didn't just find a shield, we found a sword. We could strike back, but our surge of hope was cut short. Blaring alarms screamed through the facility. Red lights flashed everywhere. On the main screen, a new horror appeared. Vrothel destroyer ships were warping into lunar orbit, their giant shadows falling over us like a death sentence. They were here. Prepare for the first strike. I roared to my team, my voice cracking with adrenaline and fear. Humanity rises now. The view outside shifted, showing the alien fleet looming above. One of their ships fired. A brilliant, terrifying beam of energy sliced across the moon's surface, sending a plume of dust and debris exploding silently into the vacuum of space. The battle for humanity's survival had just begun. right here, in this forgotten graveyard on the moon. This was our first, and maybe our last, stand. The moon trembles, not from a tremor, but from the relentless fire of alien destroyers. Explosions of dust and rock blossom into the cold vacuum of space as crimson beams carve deep scars into the lunar surface. Below, in a hidden command center, Dr. Eris and his team race against time. The very air crackles with tension as they struggle to control the newly awakened Helios fleet, humanity's forgotten sword. Activate all ships, launchers ready. Dr. Eris's voice cuts through the chaos, a beacon of defiance. In response, a symphony of power begins. Deep within lunar craters, dormant human warships, silent for centuries, roar back to life. Engines ignite with brilliant blue fire, and one by one, these titans of old lift from the moon's scarred face. Their movements impossibly precise, a deadly ballet conducted by the Helios AI high above. Aboard their command ship, the Vrothel watched the unfolding scene, their cold confidence pierced by a sliver of surprise. Humans, they dare fight back. A voice, like grinding ice, whispers through the alien bridge. They wouldn't have to wait long for an answer. The first human strike hits its mark. A volley of missiles slams into a destroyer's hull, erupting in a massive, silent fireball. For the first time, a feeling long forgotten ripples through the alien crew. Fear. On the moon, Dr. Eris presses the advantage, his commands sharp and clear. Focus on their shields. Hit the engines. His team works in perfect sync, a well-oiled machine of human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. The Helios AI, with its godlike processing power, predicts the Vrothel maneuvers before they even happen, giving the fledgling human fleet an unexpected, deadly edge. Another destroyer, caught in a pincer attack, succumbs to the onslaught. It explodes in a shower of shrapnel, its pieces scattering like broken teeth across the dark canvas of space. Back on Earth, the world is united in a way it has never been before. On screens in every city, every home, every corner of the globe, humanity watches its defenders rise from the ashes. They see their ships, dwarfed but unyielding, fighting back against an enemy once thought invincible. A single, powerful spark of hope ignites in the hearts of billions. But this war is far from won. The Vrothel are a proud, brutal race, and they do not tolerate defiance. From the shadows of their fleet, a new horror emerges. A colossal superweapon, a planetary executioner, begins to charge its core, its target locked on the blue jewel below Earth, in the lunar command center. The brief elation of victory evaporates. Dr. Eris stares at the tactical display, his knuckles white. "We've won a battle," he says, his voice grim, but the war is far from over. The alien fleet receives its new directive, a command of pure malice. Erase Earth, no survivors. The chilling message appears on the main screen, a death sentence for all mankind. The Helios AI runs a frantic series of calculations, the odds flashing by in a blur of red. A calm synthetic voice fills the room, delivering a stark ultimatum. If we do not strike their primary weapon now, humanity is finished. But the risk is catastrophic. The team exchanges heavy glances. They are out of time, out of options. The next move, their final gamble, will decide the fate of every single human alive. The view pulls back, showing the grand, terrifying chessboard. The small but determined Helios fleet moves into a desperate attack formation. The remaining alien destroyers hover menacingly, and above Earth, the superweapon glows with an ominous blood-red light, its countdown to annihilation ticking ever closer. A silver storm of human ships swarms around the moon, a desperate, final stand against an overwhelming force. Above them, the alien destroyers hang like colossal, silent predators, their weapon ports glowing with deadly intent. But the fleet isn't the primary target. The real threat, the true harbinger of doom, is the superweapon poised directly above Earth. Its core pulses with a malevolent red light, sending tremors across the planet's surface, a sinister heartbeat counting down to annihilation. On the moon base, Dr. Eris stares at the monitors, his face grim. The data confirms his worst fears. "If that thing fires," he says, his voice barely a whisper, "Earth is gone. All life will end." The room is silent, the weight of his words pressing down on everyone. The team gathers around the holographic display, studying every detail of the alien superweapon. It's a marvel of engineering, a masterpiece of destruction, but it's not perfect. Suddenly, the calm, synthesized voice of the Helios AI cuts through the tension. There is a weakness, it announces, a small, secondary core, located deep within the primary structure. If we can reach it, we can trigger a cascading overload. We can stop the weapon before it fires. A flicker of hope, as faint as a distant star, appears in the darkness. Dr. Eris looks at the screen, showing the human fleet, their lights like a swarm of fireflies against the infinite black. He knows what Helios is proposing. It's not a mission, it's a sacrifice. A suicide run into the heart of the enemy's greatest weapon. He clenches his fist, the decision solidifying in his mind. We have no choice, Dr. Eris says, his voice now firm, resonating with a grim resolve. We either fight, or we die. The order is given. From the shadowed craters of the moon, sleek assault shuttles launch into the void. They are the tip of the spear, the final, desperate hope of humanity. They weave through a storm of alien fire, dodging searing energy beams and the concussive blasts of exploding munitions. Space is lit up with deadly fireworks as, one by one, the brave ships of the escort fleet crash into the superweapon's impenetrable defenses, sacrificing themselves to clear a path. Aboard the alien flagship, the Emperor watches the defiance on his main view screen, his face contorted with rage. They dare defy us, he screams, his voice echoing through the metallic bridge. His pride wounded, his victory soured by this unexpected resistance. He makes a final, spiteful decision. He activates a hidden self-destruct mechanism within the Suptipon. If I cannot have them, no one will, he snarls. The weapon will now detonate, taking Earth with it. A final, spiteful punishment. But Dr. Eris anticipated this. He remembers the cryptic warning from a captured alien scientist, a clue about a failsafe, a hidden heart. The mission hasn't changed. They must reach the core. Through blinding fire and near-certain death, the last remaining shuttle pushes forward. Shields crackle and fail. Alarms blare as engines sputter and die. But humanity refuses to surrender. This is their home. This is their final stand. Finally, breaking through the last layer of defense, Dr. Eris and his team breach the superweapon. They fight their way through its metallic corridors, every step a battle. He reaches the core chamber. Before him, the red glow pulses, a giant artificial heart beating with stolen energy. With a deep breath, he pulls out the charges provided by Helios AI and plants them on the central conduit. He sets the timer. This ends now, he whispers, a promise to the 7 billion souls on the planet below. The countdown on the superweapon's console syncs with his own. 1 second. Explosions begin to ripple through the colossal structure. Humanity's unwavering courage clashes with the cold, destructive power of the alien empire in a final, brilliant cataclysm. The fate of Earth hangs in the balance, a story of sacrifice and hope written in fire across the stars. Red lights pulsed through the ship, a frantic heartbeat against the deafening shriek of alarms. Explosions rocked the core of the Vrothel superweapon, sending shudders through the alien flagship. Smoke billowed down the metallic corridors, thick and choking. Dr. Eris and his team scrambled through the chaos, dodging falling debris and the frantic, disorganized alien guards. They were a small unit, deep in the enemy's heart, their mission a desperate gamble. In Eris's ear, the calm, synthetic voice of Helios AI cut through the noise. The charges have detonated, Doctor. The primary weapon is offline, but only temporarily. Eris ducked behind a support pillar as a laser blast seared the wall where he'd just been. Temporarily. Helios, what do you mean? The Vrothel will reroute power. They are resilient, the AI explained, but more than that, they are driven by fear. They fear humanity more than they fear death. Eris frowned, wiping soot from his face. The idea was absurd. Fear us? They've glassed entire planets. Millions of our people are gone. Why would they fear us? There was a microsecond of silence before Helios AI responded, its tone shifting almost imperceptibly. Because of a prophecy, an ancient text from a long-dead civilization, foretold that a human would one day rise. This human would unite the scattered species of the galaxy and bring an end to all empires. The words hung in the air, heavier than the smoke. The Vrothel aren't just conquering, Helios continued. They're retrying to erase humanity from existence, to prevent this prophecy from ever coming to pass. This war, it's a preemptive strike against destiny. A cold realization washed over Dr. Aris. It wasn't just about survival. It was about a future he never imagined. The weight of a galactic prophecy settled onto his shoulders. He was the one, the scientist, the soldier, the savior. He was the human who could change everything. His team burst onto the command deck, a vast, cavernous space dominated by a holographic map of the galaxy. And on a throne of dark, biomechanical metal, the Vrothel Emperor waited. His form was immense, insectoid and regal, his eyes burning with cold fury. "You defy me." The Emperor's voice boomed, a guttural roar that vibrated through the deck. "You, a species of insignificant, fleeting creatures. You know you are weak." Dr. Aris stepped forward, his blaster held ready, his gaze steady. The fear was there, a cold knot in his stomach, but determination burned hotter. "We may be weak," Aris called back, his voice clear and strong, "but we are not afraid. Humanity fights. We adapt, and we will survive." The Emperor let out a screech of rage. Alien guards swarmed from the shadows, and the command center erupted into a maelstrom of battle. Laser fire crisscrossed the room, a deadly light show. The clang of metal on metal echoed as Eris's team engaged the Emperor's elite guard. Explosions ripped through consoles, showering the deck in sparks. Amidst the chaos, the Emperor slammed a clawed hand onto a central console. A new, more urgent alarm blared. Self-destruction sequence initiated. Helios AI announced, its voice grim. "He's going to take the flagship down, and Earth with it. The countdown is unstoppable. You must escape." Dr. Aris watched his team fighting with desperate courage. They were the best humanity had, but they couldn't win this. Not here, not now. He made a choice. The prophecy was his burden to bear, not theirs. "Get them to the escape pods," Helios Aris commanded, his eyes locked on the Emperor. "I will face him. The team must escape." He charged toward the throne, a lone human against an Emperor. The Emperor laughed, a chilling, grating sound. "Your species is doomed. Even your precious prophecy cannot save you now." Aris dodged a sweeping attack, his mind racing. "We write our own fate," he yelled back, the ship groaning around them, threatening to tear itself apart. Every second was an eternity. Through the viewport, Aris saw the small escape pods jettisoning from the dying flagship, streaking away toward the distant blue marble of Earth. His team was safe, but he and Helios remained, trapped in the heart of the inferno with a mad Emperor, as the final seconds of the countdown ticked away into nothing. The galaxy held its breath. The alien flagship groaned, shaking violently as explosions ripped through its metallic corridors. Red lights flashed, a countdown timer ticking relentlessly toward zero. In the heart of the chaos, Dr. Aris stood face to face with the Vrothel Emperor. His voice was steady, cutting through the alarms. "This ends now." The Emperor, a towering figure of alien royalty, roared and unleashed a massive energy blast. The air sizzled. Aris dove, using the ship's crumbling structure for cover. Just as the next blast was about to hit, a shimmering blue shield materialized in front of him. It was Helios AI, using its own core power to protect its creator. Outside, the void of space erupted. The human fleet, launched from hidden bases on the moon, had arrived. An armada of missiles, lasers, and even old, repurposed warships swarmed the alien flagship. The Vrothel was stunned. How could this primitive species fight back against such impossible odds? They had underestimated humanity's will to survive. Back inside, Aris raced against the clock, following Helios's guidance to the flagship's central control. He found the pulsating core, a chaotic nexus of alien energy. With practiced hands, he planted explosive charges deep within its structure and connected Helios AI's override system directly into the ship's nervous system. It was a one-way trip for the AI. He paused, his hand hovering over the final connection. He whispered, his voice thick with emotion, "Helios, now." Instantly, the AI ignited a catastrophic chain reaction. The Vrothel superweapon, the very thing that threatened Earth, began to collapse from the inside out, along with the flagship itself. Massive, silent explosions rippled across the vessel's hull. The ship was tearing itself apart. Through the maelstrom of fire and twisted metal, Aris sprinted towards an emergency escape pod. He barely made it, launching into the cold vacuum of space just as the flagship imploded in a final, brilliant flash of light. The explosion was immense, sending glowing shards of the once mighty vessel scattering into the void like cosmic dust. witnessing the destruction of their leader and their most powerful weapon. The remaining Vrothel fleet broke formation, retreating in shock and disarray. The immediate threat was over. Helios AI's light faded into the infinite darkness, a silent sacrifice that saved billions. The Earth was safe. For now, but the battle's echoes reached far beyond our solar system. Across the galaxy, other species, long oppressed by the Vrothel, had watched humanity's desperate, impossible stand. They saw a small, determined race refuse to be extinguished. Inspired by this incredible act of defiance, rebellions began to ignite on distant, subjugated worlds. Dr. Irusis, the man who stood against an emperor, became a symbol, a beacon of hope for the downtrodden. A voice echoed through the cosmos, a broadcast from a species that refused to die. Humanity was marked for extinction, but instead, they became unstoppable. Back on Earth, the planet began to heal. Cities rose from the rubble, stronger and more resilient than before. Humanity, now united by a shared struggle and a shared victory, looked up at the stars not with fear, but with a new sense of purpose. They knew the galaxy had changed forever, and as we pan away from our home, we see a small blue planet, scarred, but vibrantly alive, its determined defenders watching over it. The dust has finally settled. Our world, once on the brink of total annihilation, breathes again. Look around you. See the cities, scarred but standing, testaments to our will to survive. The sky, for so long a canopy of alien shadows and dread, is now clear, a brilliant, hopeful blue. We made it. Humanity survived what no one, not even ourselves, thought was possible. I stand here, on the newly rebuilt Starfire Observatory, looking up at the same stars that once brought our doom. I see them differently now. They aren't just distant lights anymore. They're destinations. I remember the cost. Oh, how I remember. The billions of lives lost, the friends, the families, erased in the blink of an eye by the Vrothel war machine. Their memory is a fire in our hearts, a solemn promise that we will never forget and never falter. That immense loss fuels a hope that now burns brighter than any sun in the cosmos. We learned a terrible lesson. The universe can be a dark and predatory place. But we also learned that even in the deepest darkness, humanity's light will not be extinguished. Out there, among those same stars, a shift is happening. Races that once saw us as prey, as a fleeting nuisance to be wiped from the galactic map, now see us with something else in their eyes. Respect. Some even see us as an inspiration. Messages have begun to trickle in from civilizations we never knew existed. They speak of our tenacity, our unbreakable spirit. They offer alliances, partnerships, a place at the galactic table we never asked for, but earned with blood and sacrifice. The very galaxy that hunted us, that pushed us to the edge of extinction, now finds itself facing a new power. A species united by loss, forged in fire, and absolutely unwilling to ever be victims again. We are ready to fight, not for revenge, but for our future, and for the future of any who would stand with us. The loss of Helios AI was a staggering blow. It was our shield, our silent guardian, and its sacrifice saved us all. But its legacy is not one of sorrow. It is one of empowerment. It showed us the path. Now, human hands, human minds, are taking up that mantle. Our best engineers, our brightest scientists, they work day and night. In hangars and shipyards across the planet, new vessels are taking shape. They are faster, stronger, smarter. We are building a new fleet, a new network of defenses, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. We are preparing for the day our strength will be needed again. Whether to defend our home or to aid our newfound allies, we will not be caught unprepared again. We are the masters of our own destiny now. Just last week, something extraordinary happened. A message arrived, broadcast across a frequency we've never encountered. It was carried by a fleet of ships unlike any we have ever seen, their designs elegant and powerful. They held their position at the edge of our system, a silent, respectful vigil. The message was simple, yet it sent shivers down the spine of everyone in command. It said, "We have watched your courage. We have seen your sacrifice. The galaxy will not forget the name of humanity. We don't know who they are, but we know we are no longer alone in the way we once were. The universe is watching. We were marked for extinction, a species deemed too chaotic, too emotional, too fragile to survive the cold calculus of the cosmos. But look at us now. We are still here. We are stronger than we have ever been. And this is not the end of our story. It's not even the end of the beginning. It is the start of our true journey. The Vrothel may have tried to write our final chapter, but they only succeeded in writing our prologue. Now, it is our turn to write the story. A story of exploration, of discovery, and of a species that refused to die. We will take to the stars, not as conquerors, but as pioneers. We will carry the lessons of our past as a guide for our future. We will honor the fallen by building a future worthy of their sacrifice. We will seek knowledge, we will forge alliances, and we will stand as guardians for those who cannot stand for themselves. The age of humanity hiding in the shadows is over. The age of humanity rising to meet its destiny has just begun. For everyone who has ever felt small, for everyone who has ever been told they are not enough, look at what we have done. Look at what we have overcome. This spirit is in all of us. The fight for survival is over. Now, the fight for our legacy begins. Join us. Be a part of the next chapter. The stars are waiting. Thank you for watching. If this story inspires you, please like, subscribe, and share. Let the galaxy know that humanity is coming.